Y'all, there is just a little less than 90 days left in 2024. And if you are someone who has a tendency to set goals and then forget about them, as I am, then today I want to teach you a new form of goal setting that is not only going to tickle your curiosities, but might actually be the process that your brain needs in order to get where it is you want to go in life in a way that doesn't feel punitive or boring or, well, you know what I mean? So if that's something that you're interested in, if there's something that you want to do, but you need a new and different approach to get there, then keep watching because I'm going to share something that I'm currently experimenting with. And it is kind of blowing my mind a little bit. But if you're new here, welcome. My name is Kara McGill. I'm an ADHD coach and creator, and I'm here for the busy, ambitious brains who want to do all the things, but they really don't do well with goal setting or traditional goal setting, I should say. But that's all going to change, and we're going to get into it right now. So if you're anything like me, as I mentioned, it can be really hard to set goals and follow through with them because they can be very rigid, they can feel very punitive, and we often get very bored with the goals that we start, or we even just forget about them. That happens to me more than I like to admit. And then the whole goal thing just becomes something that we want to ignore. And I completely understand that, but there is another way. And I'm actually doing an experiment right now that I'm going to let you in on. I'm going to share the whole process that I'm working on. And the reason I love this process, especially for ADHDers, is that it really plays on our strength of curiosity and novelty. So I dare say this is probably the most ADHD friendly way that I have ever worked towards any goal. And I have worked on so many different goal setting processes that it would make your head spin. But this one might just be the best that I've worked on yet. So here's the whole idea. I'm calling this curiosity-based goal planning. So I'm going to get into the whole process now, but I also want to point out that there's a template that I created for you so that you don't need to take notes. You don't need to worry about forgetting anything. It's pretty straightforward, but this worksheet will just help you get through your own planning process. So let me start off by explaining what a curiosity-based goal is. And I will contrast it with, the regular SMART goals where it has to be like a certain time bound and specific and measurable, yada, yada, yada. Very boring. But a curiosity-based goal is having a curiosity about what might happen if you took a certain action and having a hypothesis about it and having a playful and experimental attitude moving towards that goal. And the first and most important step around creating a curiosity-based goal is that it has to be something that you want to do. This is not a format for a should goal. This is the type of goal where you want to be emotionally invested in the outcome and be excited about what might come of it rather than, I should do this. So that's the intention I want you to have as you go into this curiosity-based goal planning. So once you've got a goal in mind that you feel jazzed about and you would actually like to achieve, think about the outcome that you would get as a result of achieving that goal. Let's use weight loss as an example. Let's say you're excited to lose 30 pounds by the end of the year for some big New Year's Eve party you're going to. Generally, when people think about weight loss, they immediately go to diet and exercise and going to the gym and stuff like that, which for most people is not a fun thing, right? So what I want you to do now to set up this curiosity-based goal is think of a way where you could achieve that outcome that doesn't suck. Because if you can tolerate the process, even enjoy the process, then it's much more likely that you're not only going to achieve the goal, but you're going to sustain the results afterwards. Now you're going to set up a hypothesis. So you ask yourself the question, I wonder what would happen if I only did dinners through this healthy meal service for the next 30 days? Could I lose 10 pounds? I don't know. You pick your outcome that you want for this first experiment, right? Just don't get overly attached to it and don't overthink it. That is step one. The next thing I want you to do, just in the spirit of keeping things light and fun, is to come up with a fun name for this first experiment. So if we're using the meal service, let's call it Project Chicken Breast. So now you have a goal, you have a hypothesis of what the outcome is going to be, and you've got a fun name for it. The next thing I want you to do is be very clear about why it's important to you, why there's an emotional connection to it, even though you're not pressuring yourself to get to a specific outcome. This, again, is all very experimental. If it doesn't work, that's fine. Because the point is not getting to the outcome. The point is to see if you could change your behavior towards a goal in a way that doesn't suck. So once you're very clear on why this would be an awesome thing and you're excited about it, but you're holding it loosely and you're not overly attached to it, is that we want to start putting some structure around this goal. So the example I gave you of this 30-day meal plan where every dinner is coming to you via UPS, then that is in and of itself some structure, right? So you might want to decide what meal service you want to use and get yourself signed up and plan out all of your meals, what they're going to send to you. And that might be all the structure you need. And I will give you an example of what I'm doing with this experiment in a minute, but set up whatever structure makes sense so that you can actually like roll out this experimental goal. And then once you've got your structure designed, the next thing you want to do is put that into whatever planning system that you have. Like if there are things you need to do, like research and ordering and planning, then it has to go in your planner or your to-do list, or it's never going to get done. And the last thing you might want to do just for funsies is to give yourself a potential reward for actually following through on the experiment. And remember, it's not about the outcome here. So it's just about if I actually do this for 30 days, I'm going to give myself X, Y, or Z. And then one extra bonus step is to think about the energy or the spirit that you want to bring to this experiment. So let's say you're doing Project Chicken Breast. What is your favorite fitness influencer that would be able to crush this, that you would want to have them in your ear as you're going through this experiment? Think about their energy and adopt that as the spirit in which you want to approach this experiment. And then one other step that I think is really important is to get creative around making ways to keep yourself accountable. Maybe it's having an experimental accountability buddy, or creating like an experimental vision board for yourself, or maybe it's rethinking 30 days. Maybe you just do it for a week. It doesn't matter. You've got to find a way that you're going to keep yourself accountable and also create something that you know you will actually follow through with. So make it as easy as you need it to be. This is all about experimentation, not outcome. So now that you have this framework, I'm going to share the curiosity goal that I'm working on and give you a few more tips on how to make this as easy as possible for yourself. So the curiosity goal that I came up with was, I wonder what would happen if I went all in on Instagram for 30 days. So you guys see me here on YouTube quite a bit, but I'm also on Instagram, but I'm not very consistent with it. And it's not really doing much for my business. So I'm kind of in this pardon the pun, but piss or get off the pot moment with Instagram. I'm either going to put some effort into it or completely ignore it because it's a bit of a distraction for me. So the question I asked myself was, I wonder what would happen if I went all in on Instagram for 30 days. And the outcome I had in mind was an increased engagement and reach, and also more people on my email list and potentially more sales. I'm not really worried about followers. I want to see real tangible results to the bottom line of my business. So in order to do this, because I'm really not skilled with Instagram, I went to a ChatGPT and I asked it to act as an Instagram expert for me and create a 30-day challenge that I could do for myself to see if I could increase reach, engagement, and the other metrics that I mentioned. So ChatGPT gave me something kind of dry, and I kind of worked with it for a little bit and tweaked it till I came up with this system where it was going to be like, week 1, I'm going to do reels every day. And then week 2, I'm going to do carousels every day. So I came up with a plan. I started executing on it, but quickly realized that that plan was not going to work for a number of reasons. So I ended up modifying a bit to make it work better for me, which is fine because again, we're not focused on outcome, we're focused on process. And we want to make sure that we're going after a process that's sustainable. And in order to keep myself accountable, I created a spreadsheet because I am a nerd. And every week from Sunday to Monday, I'm recording all of the progress that I'm making in this experiment, which for me is fun. And also it keeps me emotionally connected to the experiment. So I'm about 3 weeks into it at this point. I've got my hypothesis, I'm tracking my data, and I am going through the motions every day of this plan that I set out for myself. And I'm actually starting to see results. It remains to be seen whether or not my 30-day all in on Instagram challenge, whether the juice is worth the squeeze for me. Because even if I get the outcomes, if I don't enjoy the process, I'm still not going to do it. So that's a big part of this whole hypothesis that I have. I not only have to reach all these benchmarks, but I actually have to enjoy being on Instagram, or it's a total no-go for me. So if you are interested in setting a curiosity-based goal and running your own experiments, here's a few tips that I have for you. Number 1, download the worksheet so you can remember all of the steps. Number 2, use ChatGPT to help you orchestrate the experiment. Sometimes the best laid plans are the ones that you had nothing to do with. Number 3, don't be precious or perfectionistic about the process. If you start off working on a plan and the experiment doesn't quite work for you, that's fine. You can totally rejigger it. At the end of the day, this is an experiment and you're just testing whether or not the process that you enjoy doing will get you to the outcome or not. And if it doesn't get you to the outcome, then And it's not like it's a failed goal. It's just a learning lesson. And now you know what doesn't work or what doesn't work for you. And you can try something else without beating yourself up or making it mean something about yourself. And I gotta tell you, this process has been so liberating and fun that I plan to do all of my 2025 goals in the spirit of curiosity-based experiment. So let me know in the comments what your curiosity-based goal is going to be and what experiments you're going to take in order to get there, and have fun with this process. And don't forget to give yourself a little reward at the end of it. Thanks so much for watching, guys, and I will see you in the next video. Bye for now.